Hello friend and welcome back to the 30-day film school. No, I'm not going to film school. 30-day no film school challenge. This video is going to run from day 5 until day 8. I'm going to combine a few of the days because 1, I don't want you to get bored, and 2, I am doing this whole challenge on my humble smartphone Android Oppo F5 camera, and it turns out that it cannot do everything. Now you guys know I'm all about doing stuff on a budget. I made a whole video about getting started on YouTube on a budget. So I'm going to show you some workarounds for things that this humble Android camera can do and some things that it can't do, and how I can still complete this challenge, because I will complete this challenge. Is it even a challenge? I've made it a challenge for myself. I don't know. So day 5 is all about depth of field and taking some photos using that practice. Day 6 is about finding out what the film look is. Day 7 is recording a clip using the film look settings. And day 8 is editing that clip. That is something I can definitely do. So first of all, what is depth of field? Well, in really basic, simple terms, and I cannot explain it more than this because I just haven't used it. I haven't practiced with a big camera. It is about the distance, or how much distance off your frame, off your picture, off your video is in focus. So for example, right now between myself and this lamp, there is about, I don't know, 2 meter distance. And we are both in focus. Myself and the lamp is in focus. That means that I have a large or a big depth of field. The opposite of that would be having a shallow depth of field. So that would mean that I, or whatever I was focusing on, would be in focus and everything else would be blurred. Now on this camera there is a way to kind of have depth of field in photography, but not really on videos. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this is just the basic Android camera app. At least this is how it looks on my phone. You can see there are different functions like time lapse, video, photo, beauty filter, and so on. If you just leave it in the normal photo or video mode, it will automatically focus on your subject. So if you bring the subject quite close to the lens, it will focus right on that, and you can see the minute details, almost like a macro zoom. You can see everything else behind this, like where the tripod is out of focus. And then if you take it away, the background will become in focus again. And of course, depending on where you put the subject, it will try and stay in focus. So that's one way of getting kind of depth of field, or like a macro zoom on your camera phone. You can do this manually by going into the expert mode, and then you've got all the options here. So there's white balance, which is just to do with how like the weather is, essentially, like if it's cloudy, if you've got fluorescent lights, things like that. So you can change that and it makes it more orange or just more neutral. I just leave that on auto because I don't know about it. The next thing is EV, which is about the brightness. I'm not too sure what EV means. I'll try and write it on the screen now. But you can essentially increase the brightness, like the exposure, I think it is, exposure volume maybe. Again, I just generally leave that on 0 because I don't want it to be overexposed or underexposed, so let's just leave that. The next thing is ISO. I'm just going to skip past that for now. And then we've got the shutter speed, also going to skip past that. And then the AF thing, which I guess is to do with the f-stops or automatic focus. I think this is the focus, because then when I move it, it goes to MF, which I think is manual focus. So for me, this is kind of like the depth of field, because you can see if I bring it all the way down to 0, everything is blurred. So I think this is for like very, very distant things. It is all really, really blurry. Whereas if I bring it all the way up to, mine goes up to 1, you can see it's still blurry, but when I bring this close to the camera, it should get into focus just about here. You can see it's in focus and the stuff behind is out of focus. But this is literally like, I don't know, a few centimeters, 5 centimeters from the lens. And then if you bring it too close, oh no, it's still in focus. So that is quite a good focus if you want super macro tight shots, like maybe something like this with a little bit of the background. This would not really work for shooting like the type of YouTube videos I do, because I would have to be quite far like this away from the camera. Also, this does not work in selfie mode, so I tend to use selfie mode to record my YouTube videos because I like to see, you know, myself when I'm recording. I like to see that I'm in focus and that I've, you know, my face isn't having a seizure or something. Now, if I was to just do this in the photo mode just for now, I could put the subject in front of the lens until it picks it up, and then you can actually hold, like tap and hold the screen, and it will come up with this AE AF lock. And what that means is the AE is auto exposure, so that is now locked. It's stopping more or less light coming in. And the AF is autofocus, so the focus is also locked. No matter where I move the subject, the focus will not change. So if it moves away, it's out of focus, it has to remain in the original spot. And if I put my hand in front of the camera, the exposure or the focus will not change either. If I was to tap again, it's off, and then I could refocus. So say I want the subject here, I can refocus there. Again, this doesn't work in selfie mode. This is just for the back camera. I also use another app called Open Camera, and you can change things in recording or in photo mode. So if you click these three dots here, you can see there's different things here. So what have we done? So we've got autofocus. So again, you can just bring your subject to where you want it to be. Also, we could press this one, focus infinity. So again, that's like for the very, very distant focus. It doesn't focus things up close. So I guess for landscapes, you would use that. Then we've got the focus macro. So this is for closer objects, but I feel in the native camera app, it works better, the macro focus, the macro zoom, when things are really, really close, because here it is quite blurry compared to if we go to the native camera app. Again, you can see this is more in focus. For getting the film look, I have to use the Open Camera app because my native camera app, expert mode, is just for photographs rather than for recording. Alright, so that is depth of field done. Day 6 was finding all about what the film look is. Now, this is where I was kind of confused, because from what I understood, the film look is essentially like the look of a film that you see in the cinema compared to, you know, my like cheap ass YouTube videos. So from my understanding, this is a kind of combination of everything that I have learned so far. So about framing and composition, lighting, depth of field, ISO. I haven't really learned about that, but you know, no one's checking. And just having this like cinematic feel. Now, I think because I can't really fiddle with the depth of field and ISO and everything like this, I'm gonna have to try and do my best in post-production editing to make it more cinematic. So for day 7, I filmed a clip in the best possible settings that I could use and applied all the previous day's knowledge to that clip. For day 8, I was meant to learn about an editing program that I use, but I have been editing YouTube videos already for like a year now. I have another travel vlog channel and I use Filmora 9, so I already know how to edit. So I took my clip, I shoved it in Filmora 9, edited it, and this is what I came up with. Alright, so that clip was a lot longer, but I just cut it down. I don't want you guys to get bored. I'm so considerate like that. And yeah, that's essentially it from days 5 to 8. Learn about depth of field, learn about the film look, learn that this camera cannot really do any of those things, but I can try my damn hardest in editing. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below, click subscribe, whichever side it's on. And I don't know, share it with someone like Peter McKinnon so we can make a film together one day and I can win an Oscar for Best Director. I'd be the second female, you know? That's crazy. Maybe. It might happen. See you next time. Day 7 was all about finding out what... Was it Day 6 was finding about... Day 6 was finding all about what the film look is. So, oh.